Hello, friends. I would like to discuss some more examples of positive externalities. We said that positive externalities are spillover benefits to the society, spillover benefits to the third party who are not the stakeholders, right? So, what can we think of as an example of positive externality? So, let us consider this case where there is a private company. This private company is doing some research on vaccines, right? And the vaccines are being produced, and the vaccines would be sold to the consumers who can afford those vaccines at a private cost, right? So the consumers who would be purchasing those vaccines, they would be because that would build up their immunity. The way the vaccines operate, you all understand that if the vaccination is spread over to a larger population, as we had seen during pandemic, COVID pandemic, we know that if more and more people are vaccinated, the benefit is more. It means that there is, in a way, more more protection to the general society for that disease, right? So the social benefit would be much more than the private benefit in this case. uh, or in other words, if left to the market forces, only a small number of society, a small number of people would be benefited by vaccination, if and they would, because they would be the ones who would be affording that vaccines, right? But considering that vaccination has also a spillover effect, it is also going to affect the people who are not vaccinated, and their healthcare costs would come down. We generally say that there is additional benefit than the private benefit. So that additional benefit, if you add to the private benefit, that becomes the social benefit, right? So in case of positive externalities, the social benefit is always greater than the private benefit. If you want to understand this in terms of marginal benefit concept, marginal costing concept, we would say that if I am a private company and I am manufacturing 100 vaccines, then to manufacture an additional 101th vaccine, the cost to me would be the private marginal cost. Similarly, if those 100 vaccines reach the consumers, if a 101 consumer has to receive that vaccine, then we would say that that is an additional private cost to that consumer if he has to purchase that, right? If by some other way we make sure that the 101 consumer is not paying but the society is paying for that, then that becomes the marginal social benefit. Okay, so this is the way we look at the marginal private benefit and marginal social benefit in case of positive externality. Uh, as we had said that R&D, when you had talked about external externalities, we said that research and development adds to the general body of knowledge, which contributes to the other discoveries, other developments, and also the R&D is going to help the general society at large. Okay. Another example of positive externalities is promotion of solar photovoltaic electricity. We all know that if there is a factory which produces solar PV panels, then the solar PV panels, when they are used by the consumers, that would displace the fossil fuel based electricity. For example, if in a country like India or China, people are using more of a coal based electricity, and that if it is, and that not if it is actually impacting adversely on the climate change, So the intervention could be that there has to be a promotion of solar PV, right? So if you simply look at from the private benefit perspective, then solar PV, those who are able to buy the solar PV, right, they would purchase the solar PV from the market. But because the solar PV technology has a positive externality, it benefits the climate, right, and it hence it benefits the society at large. We can say that this has a positive externality, and hence the social benefit would be greater than the private benefit. Some more examples like having a private parks, right? Private parks, even if the park is private, if it is not a publicly available space, but one might think that if there is a private park around, the residents staying around, they would benefit from clean air, much more peace, right? Fresh air, the beautiful environment. All this, all this would be a benefit to the neighbors who are staying around the private park, right? So even when the parks are private and they are not public, but if they are kept in a neighborhood, the neighbors who are not paying for that private park would be benefited from that. So that is what it means, that the third party is additionally benefited over and above the parties who are the stakeholders. So the social benefit is clearly greater than the private benefit. Same applies to education. Education would so help the society at large, and it is not simply the students who are going to benefit from education, especially higher education. It would be the society who would be benefiting more, and that is how we can say that the social benefit is greater than private benefit. And finally,